What's going on, everyone? We are back, and I am going to make a quick little farming video about a scarab that is the most brainless strat I have found in a long time. Super simple, and the best thing is you can do it with any tier map, even white maps, tier 1 white maps. Doesn't really matter because of the strategy and the scarab you use. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know you like these little quick build guides, and let's get into it. Now, for this strategy, we are going to be running Ritual, which means we want to force the Ritual because we're going to be using something else on the map device, and there is no real Scarab to force Ritual. Blood-filled Vessel will force a Ritual, but you can't use that every time, and you aren't going to be able to use that for pretty much every run in general anyways. Alright, so if we look at the tree, we click on Ritual. A lot of this is just basic Scarab farming. I am just adding this strategy onto this because Scarabs are still incredibly profitable, and you'll get a lot of scarabs just in general running these maps, especially if you can run the increased map modifier effect nodes like this one, Chiseled Perfection, the mounting modifiers. Make the maps a little harder, but also increase the amount of things that drop. But if you click the ritual trees, you will see all the ones that I take. Since we are doing all of the rituals, it's not a terrible idea to put in points of sacrificial due. Since the strategy I was running with this tree, I was not doing the rituals unless they either had a fence or they were nameless shrines, or nameless just altars, whatever the ritual was. Those are the only two I was running. Now we are running them every single time, so this might not be a terrible thing to put a point into. I just have not done that yet. Now I've gone over all these ritual notables like Sacred Lands and all of this, what they do, answered appeals. I'm not going to go over that in this video. You can read them. They're pretty self-explanatory, especially once you start running the rituals. Now I'll do a brief summary of how to run rituals in general. If you just need that refresher, or this is the first of my videos you are watching. What you're going to want as many shrines as possible, so take the shrine nodes here, take the shrine node here, get an additional shrine, get more pack size on your shrines. This is very good, not to mention the chance to get a covetous shrine, which is going to increase your quantity and rarity while you have the shrine. It's always helpful. That's never a bad thing. You will take 20% more damage, so just be careful when you have it. You have to be a little bit, if you're a little squishier than a lot of builds, then you have to be aware of that. The 20% isn't insanely noticeable as long as you're a little bit careful. Now, the strategy revolves around the Cloister Divination Scarab. Divination Scarab of the Cloister. This is going to drop stacked decks, and I'm going to just do this in real time. I'm going to spend 25 chaos on 5 of these because you can see it says limit of 5. You can use up to 5, and you can use 5 of any scarabs if you have everything unlocked in the map device. We're just going to use as many as possible. You can see 25 chaos for 5 of them. I can buy them for just regular market value. And to show you can do this with any map, I'm going to go into my maps. I am going to just put a Mesa map for Mesa map. I am going to go to my stash. I'm going to chisel it. Just take 1 chisel when it's this low, which is nice. I'm going to make it rare. You can keep re-rolling this until you get a higher than 85 to 90% quantity. I'm just going to do 72 since we're doing this in real time. And I am just going to put 5 of these scarabs in each of the slots. And I'm going to run the map just like this while putting domination for 3 chaos on there. So we have now spent 28 chaos on the map. Now, when you run this, there's going to be quite a few more monsters in the map because it's going to add those monsters that drop stacked decks. They are a ranged monster. They can hit kind of hard, but again, this is something you can do on just a regular white map. So you can just go down in tier if you have to. The map isn't that important. I do really like Mesa because the layout is always the same and the boss is always directly in the middle. Not to mention you can drop the fortunate card even at the low level tier of these maps. Alright, so we're going to run around. We're going to kill things and look out for the first ritual. You'll see you will get a lot of stacked deck drops. These guys should go down pretty fast because I should not be doing a map this low. Obviously, the higher the tier map that you run, the better the drops get, and you can use things like altars. But again, that's just an example of you can run it with anything. Going to get a good amount of gold with all the extra monsters, and you will get to the first shrine. This does not have a fence, and is not a nameless shrine, but we're going to do it anyway. Now, in our strategy, you can do is you can go right towards the middle, see if the boss is in the first, if there's a ritual in the boss room, so that the boss actually gets saved into the ritual, because all of these monsters that you kill are saved in the ritual. That is the real power behind this strategy, because even though because you can see I got a stacked deck out of this. As the ritual goes on, you get more of those cloister monsters saved in these rituals. You have to kill them in the circle. You cannot drag them into the circle, but a lot of them are going to just naturally be in the circle when you go up to the ritual. They drop a second set of stacked decks. They have that 1% chance to drop them. Here's a covetous shrine. You can see it looks like me. A beanie with a bad beard. You can take this. And I also have an acceleration shrine. So it's going to make this even faster. Go up and find the next ritual. Like I said, you can just run in the middle and see if there's a ritual in the boss room. The boss room is directly here in the middle. You can see the door. You can see the ritual through the door. If there is one, you can see there's no ritual icon in there. So I don't have to do him right now. If I don't want to, I can just continue to kill and do the stacked decks. Now, I'm going to fast forward after I do all of the rituals. Alright, so all the rituals and the map are done. I picked up all the stacked decks, and to be honest, this was one of the worst ritual maps I've ever gotten. I only got 4,400 tribute. That is extremely low, especially with the Atlas nodes. But I don't feel like re-recording it, so we're just going to roll with it. With the ritual, the way it works is because of the Atlas nodes, you're going to get a lot of chances to re-roll. It's more pulls on the slot machine. If you get a ritual with a fence around it, it'll be a little white fence around the base of the ritual here that you will see. That means it will have only one type of rewards. So it can either have all divination cards, it can have all currency, or it can have all uniques. And when you re-roll, it can just re-roll any of those three. Nameless ritual, when it literally says nameless altar on here, see this one says fortress ritual, it will say nameless. And that is where you're going to get your king's invitations, and you're going to get your corpses that you can raise specters from, some of them being worth as much as 7 to 8 divines, something like Perfect Forest Tiger. And the invitations to fight the King of the Mist that you will get are about 120 to 130 chaos apiece. And every time you reroll, there'll be a new item. Now you reroll these items to buy them at a future point if it's something you want to buy, and you always want to be deferring stuff first before you see all the rerolls. That's the most powerful thing about ritual, is you get more rerolls, you get more pulls on the slot machine, more of a chance to get items in here. Keep in mind, you can get any item in here. You can get a Mage Blood, you can get a Headhunter, you can get any currency, you can get a mirror in here, you can get divines, that's a lot more common than a mirror, and you can get anything that your heart would desire, except for certain things like boss drops. You can't get, uber boss drops. You aren't going to find a Progenesis in here. Since I don't have that much tribute to reroll, again, this is a rare case. Usually you'll end up with over 6,000 pretty easily. I just had bad luck with the rituals. Didn't have a whole lot of monsters around the ritual altars, which will happen. But I think this is a great point to make, because even with that, we still made a decent amount of profit, even with the map being crappy. So I'm going to look. I have this deferred. It's got a yellow border around it, which means I don't have to defer it again. It's going to keep reappearing. When this has a red border around it, that means it's only got a couple more rerolls before it is going to disappear forever and I won't see it again. So when it's a red border, you should just defer it again ASAP. Nothing here really important, so I'm just going to reroll again. Some more stuff here, some ritual splinters. You can see this is the red border, so I'm going to defer this just to be safe, because I do want that scarab eventually. But every time I defer it, it gets cheaper and cheaper. So I want to bring the cost down a good amount before I buy it. There's ritual splinters at the last worst case scenario. If you're at your last reroll, you want to grab some splinters, that is fine. All that does is you take, when there's 100 stack of them, you get an empty blood vessel. You right click it, and then you click on the ritual altar. That is going to fill the blood vessel, and then you can put that in the map device, and it'll add some extra monsters onto the map and automatically force the ritual on the next map as well, even though that doesn't matter because we're forcing it through the map device. But it will give you good starting monsters, and it'll automatically fill that ritual vessel with the monsters of the ritual that were in the ritual naturally. So it'll automatically put in here all the monsters that spawned in the circle when you first killed it. Again, if there's a ritual in the boss altar and you kill the boss in the ritual, he is going to be in all the future rituals of that map. If you use a blood-filled vessel on the ritual that was in the boss room, he will get put into that blood-filled vessel. But anyways, back to here. The scarab, you can see, still has, I deferred it. There's nothing here I really want. I'm going to reroll again. You can see there's 10 regrets. It's a large tribute cost at this point in the league. I'm personally not going to defer this, but again, it's 1340 tribute to reroll. I only have 1621. Not going to have a whole lot of tribute left to defer anything, even if I found something good. So I'm just going to take this scarab. But 95% of the time, you have plenty of tribute to re-roll those 4 times and enough to defer certain items as you see them. So even though this was a white map and it wasn't a very good map, I didn't get a whole lot of shrines around the ritual altars because the shrine monsters count as things that go in the ritual altars also. So if you have some shrines near a ritual circle, those monsters will go in. Had terrible luck with the map, still got 37 stacked decks. And like I said, I have 28 chaos in this. I bought 5 scarabs for 25, used the domination map device for 28. Even if I wanted to get a little ripped off and use the currency exchange for this, say I wanted chaos, and I have 38 stacked decks. I have more in my stash, that's why that is listed more. Or sorry, 37. Market ratio 1 to 1. Let me delete this. 1 to 1, so that's, I don't know why it's doing that. 50 chaos, so there you go. On a crappy map, I still made over 20 chaos, not to mention the other stuff that I found in the map. If I wanted to sell it for that, I could, and see, I got 49 chaos and 7 left over, so it even gave me a better ratio because I even overpaid. So again, I'm not going to do the math on that. That is just the way you can do it. The way I prefer to do it is take the stack decks, wait until you have enough for divine, which is usually only 2 maps around there. Do not do 1 for 90. You can get away with if you have a 3 or 4 divine worth, which you can get very fast. You can just do 1 divine for like 86, something like that. 1 goes on the outside, 1 divine for 86. The number you have always goes in between the thing you want and the list of the divine orb with the thing you want. So that's the brainless way of doing it. If you want to get a little bit fancier and you want to focus more on ritual, you can use the ritual scarabs right here. The reroll one that doesn't cost anything for the first 2 times. That's a very strong one. Not to mention the 100% increased favor that you get is very good as well. But if you really want to make it brainless, I just put 5 of the cloister scarabs. Obviously, you only have 5 map slots, so if you're using the ritual scarabs, that is less stacked decks you find, but it's less of an investment to use 5 scarabs at a time. Once you start making a currency, you should probably just buy the scarabs at a divine at a time, so you're not spending all your gold, or all your gold and your time just being in the currency exchange getting these scarabs. But honestly, I think that's it. Now, I do want to preface this by apologizing to some people that put in the comments, I love doing this strategy with the cloister scarab. It gets a lot of stacked decks, and I kind of feel bad about making a video on this because if a bunch of people start doing this, I don't think I have that much pull yet, but it might be a little noticeable. The scarab might be a little bit more expensive. As long as the scarab doesn't go above, I'd say 7 to 8 chaos a piece, it is still going to be great profit. If for some reason it jumps up to like 10 chaos per cloister scarab, that's when it might get a little sketchy, but I don't see that happening. In fact, the price for it went down a little the last couple days. I was paying 6 chaos, and as you just saw now, as we're recording this video, I only paid 5. So keep that in mind. If the price on that scarab gets too high, this won't be nearly as worth it, but currently at recording this, it is more than worth it. But I think that's going to do it, guys. I have 2 more videos, and I will probably put one out Friday, and I'll put one out Monday. One is going to be how I farmed my mage blood, and it's going to be a revised strategy of that. Looking back, not only is it what I did to farm mage blood, but it is what I would change to do it even faster. So get subscribed if you're excited about that video. And then next week, early next week, there will be a video on what I am doing now to make a ton of currency. Enough currency to where I even bought a mirror on here, and I'm already starting to make a bunch of divines more. So get subscribed to see that strategy too. So 2 big videos coming out, guys. Make sure you follow over on twitch.tv/SafeOnTalk, where I'm streaming multiple times per week. Come hang out with us if you have any questions on this strategy or anything else, and I can answer them. I would be more than happy to. So come over and hang out with us. A link to Discord is in the description. Come chat with us on there. You can also ask questions in the Discord, and we do our best to try and answer those. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will catch you on the next one.